Hoping that I see things going through and going smoothly. Please let me know in the chat if there's any audio issues. But anyway, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and welcome to the December 2019 ChemKnits Dialogue live stream. Once a month, I pick an inspiration photo, which you can see right here, and we use it to dye some yarn. And in addition to picking colors from the photo, I frequently like to pick something about that photo to inspire my technique, maybe even the yarn base, and sort of pull it all together to get a yarn that embodies the mood and feeling and colors from our photo. So this month I picked this sort of wintry decorated, I don't know if they use like nail polish or paint or something, pine cones. And I wanted something that felt wintry without being like explicitly Christmas or Hanukkah, something that just felt winter and themed and festive still. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun. But this is a dialogue, so that means I'm inviting all of you to create your own version of this photo on yarn yourself. You can share the yarn that you dye inspired by this photo with me, and I'll pick some of the photos to feature in the recap of this live stream that'll come out sometime in mid-January to give you guys time to dye along with me. The way that you can get your yarn featured is by sharing your pictures on Instagram with the hashtag ChemKnitsDyeAlong, or there is a pinned photo on the ChemKnits Facebook page. I believe I also have a link to it in the video description, but you can reply to that, to this photo that you see right here. You can reply to that with a picture comment, and that's another way that you can be featured. And if you'd like to be featured anonymously, just say, like on Facebook, just say, like, please leave it anonymous. I'll try to pay attention to that. If I ever miss that, I am very sorry. But you can also share your photos anonymously in the ChemKnits Lab Facebook group. Any photos shared there will be kept private because that is like along with the group rules. All right, now as I sort of remember from last month, Google changed the streaming setup a little bit again, so I am still getting used to it and have to figure out how to set this all up so that way I can see all of the controls that I need. Okay, I want this to be right here. Hello everyone, welcome. I will be skimming the chat, but feel free, this is a live stream, so feel free to leave questions or comments in the chat. When I'm at the counter, I can't always see the chat, but I will come and like skim back through as I come back and sit down and chat during like waiting stages and whatnot. I'm trying to figure out how to get those pale colors with your dyes. Which one's like the lavender and that like ecru color. You can see, I guess, below me right now, I was playing around with some crayons, pulling some colors and some feelings from this photo, so I have something to refer to while I don't have the photo. Like, I mean, I can pull it up on my phone, I suppose. But when I don't have the inspiration photo right in front of me as I'm mixing colors, then I have that to look along to. You're new to yarn dyeing, you can only do cotton or acrylic, you're allergic to wool. Yay! A lot of the techniques, the dye types that I'm using, oh dear, I see a scary error message. Okay, hopefully. Hopefully that error will go away soon. I am going to continue. Yes, so the dyes that I'm going to be using today are commercial acid dyes. If need be, I might pull in some food coloring, but I think I have all the colors already mixed that I need, at least like from the stash that I have, the pre-made stocks. I like to try to use what I have in stock solution already instead of mixing colors fresh. Like I definitely have some colors that will match some of those like colors. Like I don't have a good source for the photo this month. I found it on a random like wedding website, and when I did a reverse image search, I came up with other like conglomerate photo things versus where the original source came from. Normally I don't pull it with like the like inspiration colors beneath it, but it is a little handy. And so I have that there. But I actually have dyes that match a lot of those colors already, but I sort of pulled, you can see like down here that I pulled some colors myself from just looking at the photo. The seafoam green and the pale lavender would be hard for the 9 colors you own. Yeah, so I have way more than 9 colors pulled down here, a mixture of Dharma and Jacquard acid dyes. And I think I'll be able to, even though I have pre-mixed colors that would match these, I'm going to try to like mix a bit to get to it. Rebecca, do you ever use a color picker app to pick out the colors from the photo, or do I use crayons and do a more inspired colorway rather than directly matching? Sometimes I try to directly match. Sometimes I do go into a color picker just to see, but I don't like, yeah, like the color picker stuff definitely like helps and gives like a fun idea, and I like those colors it pulled. But you can see that I pulled like a bunch of other hues. The main reason I was going for crayons was to get a sense of the colors I wanted to create as I'm mixing, so that way I can have a physical reference versus just like the digital image on my phone or something. Just because it's hard sometimes to like see as I'm like running back and forth. But color picker things can definitely be helpful, especially for trying to come up with a palette. And I know that I frequently feel like I struggle with picking colors, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy these dialogues, is because sometimes I pick colors and I'm like, wow, this goes together really, really well. I might not necessarily have picked this combination on my own. I tend to go for combinations that are fairly obvious, I guess, maybe analogous colors. Like I'll do like, you know, like red, orange, and yellow, or I'll do like green, blue, and purple, kind of like, that's sort of a comfort zone for me. And so it's a lot harder for me to like pick things like outside, but looking at photos definitely help. And yeah, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, you should subscribe to the Chemnitz Tutorials YouTube channel, especially because starting Sunday night is Hanukkah. And from the 22nd all the way through the 31st, there will be a video every single night to round off the year with a nice bang. So awesome. But yes, so I will be using acid dyes, which work on protein-based yarns, which won't work on cotton or acrylic. But there are a lot of dye options out there for dyeing those types of fibers. Oh, I'm so glad that you guys are having fun and that you guys are inspired. I'm really excited. Okay, let me hide my beautiful face. Oh gosh, I'm such a dork. And I am going to leave the inspiration photo up and hide the rest. Okay, I'm standing up. So I have like, how many colors did I pull? I pulled 3, 6, 10, 15, 16 different colors. I'm definitely not going to use all of them, but I pulled like blacks, browns, greens, blues, some yellow just in case. But here's my crayon sketch, and I know the colors on my webcams don't come through the way I would like. I'm not able to edit them in the best way, but the notes that I sort of gave myself and sort of like the rules of thumb for what I'm going for is that this photo, the inspiration photo, which is super tiny right now, but our blues are very green. Like and maybe while I'm talking about this, I'll make the photo bigger. There's a lot of blue in this photo, but the blues are very, very green. Like they're a deep teal. It's not anything is a true blue. And I suppose, well, there's that seafoam green kind of color. So there are some greens, but the greens are either extremely pigmented and dark or in that more teal category. We've got for purples, we've got mauve and lavender kind of hues. And so those are more pastel, more muted. And then for the brighter colors, we've got these deep teals. And then the color picker clearly picked a black, but I also see some really deep browns in there as well. The color picker also picked sort of like an ecru color, which I'm probably not going to play with. I'm probably going to try to go for some of these more saturated tones. But the thing that is going to be interesting and that's going to sort of mute and tie everything together is the yarn that we are going to use today. Given that it's holiday and it looks like this photo might have some glitter in it, I decided to go big with a sparkly yarn. And this is Dyer Supplier Silvery Sock, which is 20% stellina. I'm not sure if the sparkles are coming through. Oh, I mean, I can see. I believe off the top of my head that it's maybe 60% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 20% stellina. It is jam-packed and has this sort of silvery base color to it. And what that will do is sort of mute everything a bit. It's sort of like it's going to give everything a little bit of a gray cast. So things might not necessarily feel as like bright and punchy as they might on a white base, which is perfect for the photo we are playing with today. And so I am an affiliate with Dyer Supplier. They gave me this yarn for free to play around with. I really enjoy the base. I have affiliate links to Dyer Supplier and Knit Picks and Amazon for some of the tools and equipment that I use in my videos, all in the video description. And I'm using some of my reusable nylon zip ties. And you can see that this one clearly has been used before, but I'm not getting any color transfer from the ties onto the yarn. So I'm very happy with them. Let me peek and see. Tie-dyes are great for cottons, the silvery. It's a beautiful sparkle yarn. Yes, the silver color will definitely tone down the colors. And so I pre-soaked 3 skeins for a couple of hours. I think my plan, and nope, there you go. My plan, and I know the inspiration photo is a little bit in the way, but we're just coming in for a second. My plan is to dye 1, and we're going to dye 1 and then potentially come and dye the other 2 once I see how the colors are really interacting with the base, because that'll help us determine how I want to shift things. Now, with 1 skein in here, I have 8 cups of water in here. This is full immersion. I mean, not enough, like the colors will spread a bit, but should also stay somewhat local, but the colors will be hitting water before yarn. Hey boys, is your door shut? Sorry about that. The kiddos are rambunctious. So technically they've been in bed for like an hour, but they are not sleeping. Okay. I just added 2 tablespoons of white vinegar into here. Now, with any yarn that has stellina, you do want to be careful when it comes to citric acid because, and I haven't seen this personally, but if you have conditions that are too hot and too acidic for too long of a period of time, you can dull that luster and that sparkle. I have not, oh no, that camera froze. That camera froze. I'm glad I saw that now. Sorry, guys. Let me see. Hopefully the whole video didn't freeze. That camera froze. Okay, good. I can hear myself. Okay, well, that's good. Let's see. Nope, that's not. Darn it. Shoot. Okay. Let me delete that. Yes. Let me add it again. Video capture device. Okay. There we go. I hate when the autofocus is sort of jumping. So sorry about that. But yes, I've got 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and 8 cups of water. And you can see like how immersed this is in here. I am. Oh, that was a loud bang. Excuse me 1 moment, everybody. Sorry about that, everybody. Thankfully, no one was hurt, just loud bang. Who has a good cotton dyeing recipe? Mom's gonna mom. Yeah, I do have a playlist of cotton dyeing videos on my channel. But I have only played with Dharma Fiber Reactive dyes a couple of times so far. Okay. Yes, the silvery sock, that's one of the reasons why Dyer Supplier named it silvery sock, because it does have some gray to it because the selena, there's so much of it in there. Like at some point, there will be some content that shows that yarn up close next to like Dyer Supplier's old sparkle sock. I'm not sure when that'll be happening. Sometime in 2020 though, I believe. Sometimes things are not within my control. Okay. Oh, thank you guys. Oh. Wait, Christine, you have 5 kids? I had no idea. That's amazing. Yes, we have 2 children and then a dog and a fish. The fish gives no trouble. Okay, well, let's mix up some colors. Oh, Sarah, I feel that way. Oh man, Okay, so here's my little color cheat sheet, and since I'm making sure that these cups I'm setting up are going to be on screen, since it's like the end of the year, I'm not planning on writing down my recipes. I'm planning on going by feel And if I need more of a color, I'm going to do my best. But to sort of aid with my hues, I am going to start by diluting some of these colors just a bit. This way I can sort of, I'm going to use this to get a sense of the hue. For example, right here is the remnants of some Dharma espresso bean. And I have a sneaky suspicion that this could be a very good mauve-y purple. And I'll end up going heavier with this, but you know, from the one drop, the tone is what I am looking for. So I think that the espresso bean, and I don't think that I'm going to go as pastel as this is right now because you can barely see it, but I think that the hue is what I want. If when I put it on the yarn, it feels like I need to pump up the volume a little bit, then I might add, I've even got some fluorescent fuchsia if I think it needs a little more pink. I've got some electric violet. And so, yeah, I've got those to help as well. So now this one's got half a cup of water. And I'm doing sort of like a splash of the espresso bean. Hopefully that bottle isn't blocking. It is blocking it. Okay, and let's just see. Okay, so that's a little deeper than I want. So I'm thinking about, I mean, although honestly, that works as well. It's deeper than what I want, but I'm not mad. Like, I think that that still works with the photo. So I might try to do a second one that is a little softer. So adding a little dollop of some espresso bean. And I'm going to add some, I guess this is electric violet that I have here. I'm going to add some more water. Okay, and let's see where we landed here. That's nice. I think it still could be like a little more watered down, but you can see it's more purpley than what we have here. This has like that, I mean, espresso bean does have that brown edge, but I think somewhere in here is a very good, like that's good for those purples. And I'm peeking over at the chat. Oh, good. So the stream's not fuzzy. The stream sometimes could be fuzzy. I had some errors. But yeah, if you have it set on the lowest resolution, that could do it as well. Okay. Now, and I want to make, even though I have my crayons, I'm going to do this and move this down here. Yeah, I like those purples. Okay, I want to go, the color I don't have all ready to go is that deep, like, teal color. The green that I have is sour apple. And I know it's not like the right green, but this is what we're going to do with it as I try not to make a mess. So I've got gunmetal, but gunmetal is scaring me. And but I like it as a color, and it's only done that freaky thing to me once. So let's try. And I should have a spoon or something. My favorite little spoon. Let's see how we're doing. Ooh. Okay, so that is very blue and needs more green to it. Why did that spill over? And okay, let's see how this. Ooh, okay, so this is a nice green, but it is too like forest green and is not blue enough. So what I'm going to do with this sort of forest green that I mixed, I'm going to pour some in here. I know I'm like all over the place, but bear with me. And I'm going to add some frozen to it. And we will definitely, oh yeah, I think that this might be my, oh, it could still, that's a good, okay, this is a good teal and I like it. I want one that's a bit more blue. No, actually, I really like this one. I like that with these purples a lot, but I think I do want one that does feel more like a little more blue. So what, oh, crap. Oh, you guys. Oh dear, okay. So what I'm gonna do for this one, my work surface is protected with a shower curtain. All right, we're gonna start with some frozen. And I'm gonna wipe this. And I'm gonna add a little bit of that green mixture. Now the thing that like doing the mixes like this today is it's gonna make it hard for me to replicate colors, but I'm also kind of okay with that because you guys can, I mean, how I don't show like, there we go, the mixing of colors too much. Okay, so we've got, and I'm going to save this green. I don't know if you could see. Yes, you can see them all on. I'm checking the chat. I think this would be beautiful on roving. Yes, I'm curious to see how the variation of depth of color people do as well with this inspiration. Okay, so I do feel like I need still a deep color. Okay. And what I want to do, so that's dark maybe. One of my favorite browns in the whole world is pecan brown from Dharma. It is a nutty, cool toned brown. I mean, it's not even quite gray, but it's like a beautiful true brown. Like Jacquard brown is also a true brown, but it's a lot more yellow. And to that, I'm gonna add a little bit of black. Now I could have gone and added some like purple or something, and I'm not gonna worry about there being some blue on there. But black tends to be a little bit reddish. I just want to see, I mean, that's looking fairly black. Let's add some more pecan. So these are all, yes, I think everything today is a 1% stock solution. Except clearly I've added some water to these just to help with like the color spread. And I don't know, it's fun to mix some colors. Now I can always go, it's fairly black, but you know, It is, we'll see if it breaks at all. And so I'm going to, and I totally lost my paper towel in here again. I'm going to sort of swatch these all on a paper towel right now, momentarily. Get one to wipe my hand, and then I'm going to feel like a beauty guru in a second. So I'm going to do finger swatches. Put just done on my skin. I'm sort of wiping it over here. So teal. That one is the more green. All right, so this is sort of where we have ended up color-wise compared to my crayon swatches over there. I am going to take a photo of this and I'll put it on my Instagram story so that way you guys can see closer what the colors are like. But the fun thing about having these mixtures is that we could see some color breaking potentially. Where is my phone? And then I'll sit down and check out the chat. And I'm going to have the heat on the yarn a little more. So let's do. Not bad. Okay, I'm going to pop this onto my Instagram and Facebook stories. My Instagram is in the video description, so you can find that there. And post it. Or, you know, it's posting. Okay, so let me see what you guys are chatting about. No, that's the yarn in the chat. And here I am. Okay. How do I get started into dyeing yarn? Well, Kathleen, I would say grab some white pastel yarn, and if you're like, well, grab some food coloring and go for it. I have so many food coloring videos on here on the channel, and the Dye Pot Weekly series sort of explores my deep dive into other techniques and other dye types. I have hundreds of videos, so if you let me know and a little more about the type of yarn you're interested in dyeing, like in the comments of this video after the stream or something, then I can go and try to like pull some videos that I think would match and help. But you're in the right place because I like experimenting with color and trying new things. And my mission statement is to make dyeing and playing with color as approachable as possible. So that's my goal. Let's see. Okay. I am in my kitchen. I am a home dyer. I dye, in my home, in my kitchen, and then wipe things down. It's why one of the reasons why I use a shower curtain on my kitchen island. Wipe things down and transition back into a kitchen. And that's why my kids are causing a ruckus directly over our heads right now. Let's see. Yeah, so I started off with my bare yarn from Knit Picks. I love Knit Picks. I use a lot of their yarns. The yarn tonight is from Dyer Supplier. I also really like them. I think that there is they have some bases that are similar, but they also, Knit Picks has some that Dyer Supplier doesn't, and vice versa. So yeah, you can find my affiliate links in the video description, which does mean that I earn like a commission off of it, but yeah, sort of like a win-win-win. You get the materials that you want that are awesome, and then it helps support me buying materials at the same time. What about using twilight gray instead of black? Twilight gray would be really, really nice. What the color I'm sort of going for here is the like shadow in the pine cone, and so I wanted something like in that depth area. I also don't have any more twilight gray mixed, which is another reason. I'm trying to go for and mix the colors out of the things that I have. And so like I don't have a red anymore because I used that up the other day. And so it's like, okay, what do I have to draw from? I obviously can mix more stocks, but there's a limit of, I store all these stock solution bottles inside a big plastic container under a sink in my bathroom. And it's the secondary containers in case they like leak or anything like that. But once that's full, then I don't have any more space to store stocks that I mix. So then I go and I try to use up what I've got. Let's see. What does the term breaking mean? Color breaking is when you have a mixture. Say we have one of the greens we mixed tonight, and it looks like, you know, a sort of like a nice teal color. If it were to break, then we might see it separate into, say, the green and a little more blue. And it's sort of like when you see like a halo that's a different color, that's the colors breaking. And I have a lot of videos that look, I'm doing that intentionally and stuff here on the channel. Oh, and I see that Leah did that. Have I ever do the coffee filter chromatography with markers? Oh yeah, that also shows yeah, color breaking on yarn. I sometimes call it yarn chromatography. Rit dye does work on cottons. So how many cameras am I using and how do they work together? Right now I am using 2 cameras, 2 different webcams. I have one over by the stove and then one at my counter, and the microphone is in the one that is over my counter where I'm mixing. If you guys are interested in the equipment that I use for filming, I can start, well, I could either do a blog post and link that, or I could start linking like the camera and the webcams and that kind of stuff that I use in the video description of videos, if that would be useful. So let me know if you'd like me to like include like more of the specs of the stuff that I use down there, and I absolutely will. Yes, it's definitely leave no stock solutions behind. Some of these, like when I mix a stock into like a mini like old tulip tie-dye 4-ounce bottle, those are ones when I'm like, okay, I only need a little bit of the color and stuff like that. But yeah, things that are like a more pure still stock solution, I hang on to versus like putting all together in one pot for leave no dye behind. So yeah, but I don't know. I'm really excited for these colors. And I see steam at the stove, which means we're about ready to go and start applying some of this color to our yarn. And what else did I want to say? Oh, right. If you guys want to help support the Chemknits Tutorials YouTube channel, there are a few ways to do that. I mentioned some of the affiliate links that I have for materials in the video description, but I also have an Etsy shop, Chemknits Creations, and I usually tag the yarn from these dye-alongs with Chemknits dye-alongs. So if you search my shop for Chemknits dye-along, the yarn from past months that's still available will show up, and so that's a way that you can just find the yarn specifically from these live streams. But the rest of the yarn is all featured in usually pre-filmed videos that go on my channel, and there are hundreds of skeins there, so you can bring the yarn home and rewatch the video, and I think it's a lot of fun. I also have a Patreon, and at the bottom of the chat screen, there's a little $sign for super chats, and it's sort of like a little tip jar. So those are all like different things that you all can do. You have 90 videos, but you need to do overhead shots and tutorials, so would be interested in links and stuff. Okay, yeah, then I'll start, like, maybe I'll do like a blog post on Chemknits first, but yeah, I can totally start sharing some of that. And my goodness, I've got wild elephants upstairs. Okay. I am very, very sorry. I am going to send you guys to a, if I see how to do it, highlight, sending you guys to a commercial break while I go help the kids. Shoot. Hey, kiddos. Look at what's on. 'Cause 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 Sorry, everyone. Normally I try to give a little more warning when I pop an ad in like that midstream, but yeah, the Munchkins, whew, rare form. Yeah, I definitely film, sometimes I'll film stuff on I have a Galaxy S9, I think. Sometimes I'll film stuff, but that's usually more when I'm like outside or if I'm with the kids doing something a little more vlogish. I think the microphone on here is actually better than the microphone on my DSLR. I use a Canon EOS 80D for most of my filming. Sorry, I'm calling in reinforcements. Sorry, guys. Hey, our eldest requires some assistance. Yep. Okay. There we go. And I can turn that off. And I am going to, where can I pop this image? We're gonna leave this down here. Yes, those, oh my darling elephants. But hopefully, shoot, will I be able to tell? Hopefully the camera didn't freeze again. Okay, it didn't freeze. I was like, let's test before I start dying on. Thank you guys for being understanding. Okay, so I think I want to start with, wait, is that really? Oh no, okay. I was looking at the swatch I did next to the colors in the jars, and it was like something felt weird with the order, but it was because I like twisted it around. So we're gonna go from light to dark. And I will probably need to grab some more tulip bottles. So for example, this one, this first color, this is just espresso bean. And what I'm going for are, we're getting some dashes, but I'm mostly going for dots. And I'm not even putting any pressure on the bottle. I am literally just letting gravity do its thing. So this purple color was the 1%, or was the diluted espresso bean. And this is some espresso bean with some electric violet. And honestly, I might leave, well, this one is spreading out to give us more of that lavender. So when it first goes on, it feels a little intense and dark. But then it sort of spreads and becomes that sort of softer lavender. And so this is similar to like the watercolory technique that I do, that I've done before, but instead of doing lines, it's more, not quite speckled even, because it might feel a little speckled. Okay, I'm definitely gonna need more of these containers, but let's go for the brighter blue next. And this one is sort of the test. And then I have two others that we might do and sort of see, maybe like ramp up the volume on some of the colors. But, and some of this will land on top of the purples. But again, like if we get some browns, that is okay. And I don't have the most control over where the colors are landing. Like, because the dye is hitting water first, that is one of the things that's letting it spread out, which makes this whole approach and technique something that would be harder for me to do if I were, this would be harder to do with a more crowded pan. Since the pan is fairly uncrowded, I'm able to spread those out. And I don't think what you guys see is really doing this colorway justice. Let me, because there is more pigment in here. Go potty then, sweetie. You're wearing feetsy pajamas? Then take them off. Okay, I need 2 more little bottles. All of the equipment and stuff that I'm using today is dedicated dye equipment and is not used for food. Okay, these colors, oh dear. These colors should be striking fairly quickly. I mean, there is definitely some spread that you can see, but they should be hitting like not too slowly. And one of the reasons why I'm going for this sort of dot like approach tonight is this is not something that I've done a ton. Usually I go bigger. And I mean, I want to go big, and so in the next iteration I might just go bigger. But one of the reasons for this is just those petals on those pine cones in the inspiration photo just really excited me. Okay. All right, and so that was that green. And now we're gonna bring in, ooh, okay, that color that was looking pretty black did sort of dry down to be that deep brown that I was going for. And this is sort of the color of those shadows. This is a mix of Dharma True Black and then Pecan. And I think that this is the Pecan Brown. And this is definitely the most concentrated of all of the colors. I hope, gotta take a bit of a breath here. Because it's going to be so much more pigmented than everything else. I don't want to like regret it, but I kind of like what's happening. I think it's giving like a nice depth. I just have to try to like not go in too heavy. And we will be flipping the yarn over and adding more color to the other side as well. So even this like is less saturated than it was initially because of the way that the colors sort of soften and spread out. And that is, honestly, that's okay. Sort of works. It's not even looking like really black or brown even to me anymore. Yeah, I think I'm going to give this like 5 minutes and then flip it over. It's sort of nice to have some restraints sometimes with these colors. Mainly because it's really easy to just sort of go for it and go big. Here's my phone. It's like I did have a phone somewhere. And I'm updating the stories as I go. But I'm kind of happy. I wish that I wish that the camera, the webcam would really pick up those purples more. Let me bring me back. Oh, and it's like, why can't I see myself? Hi. Back on my little floor spot. Okay, let's see. Lots of kids, so thank you guys. Oh my gosh, the air conditioner. It's cold today, cold, icy, and rainy. I went to pick up Ryder from school and I was walking a bit because I'm like, okay, it's just snow. But after I picked him up and we went back outside, it was like raining and it was like we got soaked. I cannot handle heat. Yeah, the yarn, like it's kind of got nice. I wish that the in person like showed like not quite. Can't really do it. Like it definitely is muted and soft, but you really do feel those like purple and teal notes in there. It's very soft. And on the next one, I'm gonna go bigger. I think I'm gonna not go for the little like petals of the pine cone, but this is why sometimes I like to do a couple versions myself. I like to like go for it and sort of see what happens. It was the night before Christmas and all through the house the AC is running because I live in the South. That's really, really cute. Yeah. I'm nervous because it might be icy in the morning and I hate driving already. I was in a really like bad accident when I was a kid and like thankfully like my mom had like her back was really messed up and still is from the accident, but thankfully like my brother and I were okay and my dad was okay. The car was totaled. Whole like car chase scenario. Drunk driver in a stolen truck. We were at a red light. They hit us and kept going, and there's a car chasing after it. It was a big thing, but so I'm terrified of driving. And so like icy conditions and stuff don't like help. But I have anxiety issues anyway, so the weather conditions don't help. I just hope the kids have been waking up so tired. I just want them to sleep. Aw, hi 4-year-old. Hello and mwah. I'm not sure what time of day it is for you, so I don't think I can say go to bed because I don't think it's your bedtime. Wait, did I? I did not set a timer. Let's go move the yarn. This is what happens when I leave the videos. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be back in 10 minutes. And then I go back and I'm like, well, it's been more than 10 minutes because I thought I set a timer and I didn't. It happens more often than you might think. But man, I love my purple nitrile gloves. These are actually the same gloves that, I'm going to reduce the heat a bit. These are actually the same gloves I used to wear in lab. Not obviously not the exact same ones, but I order them from Amazon now instead of like another supplier. But oof, the backside is pretty too. But I am going to go in and dot the yarn. I think hopefully I will still have a skein of this. It's bare, so we can compare it to. I'm moving this there, but I think it's really pretty. All right, I'm going to go through in a similar way, starting with the paler colors and then going for the darker ones. And the reason that I want to start pale and then build my way up is because that way I can see where the pails are going. And since like we're only seeing like the top of the yarn, we don't see what's happening on the underside or anything like that, these paler colors could, whoops, give more to the underside than we might initially appreciate, which is why I want to see it and be able to see where it's going, because I can tell you that that first purple, that more lavender, feels really soft once it sinks in. And this is the one, that other one had some of the electric violet in it. This one is just espresso bean. And I am adding a tiny bit more color like near the ties, because I know that otherwise that is, with a fairly shallow technique like that, that's otherwise like a little bit of a resist point. Whoop. I am still trying to just let drips go. Okay, and then we're going to go for the more of the blue teal. And this is, again, mostly gravity, but sometimes a little bit of pressure from me. I really, really like this yarn base. It is so sparkly. And I think because it's so sparkly, I think that a soft kind of technique like this is going to be really pretty with the yarn. Because it's subtle, but not too subtle that the shimmer and speckle will overpower it. And so if you're just tuning in, this is the silvery sock yarn from Dyer Supplier. And I'm doing a holiday-ish colorway, but I wanted something that didn't like scream, that screamed like holiday and winter, but I didn't want it to scream Christmas. I didn't want it to scream Hanukkah. I've dyed some Hanukkah inspired colorways this year. I actually even have a Christmas yarn coming up because there's a Dye Pot Weekly coming on Christmas Eve. And so, Christmas Eve day. Yeah. And so that will be out in the morning, and then since it's still Hanukkah, there'll be a Hanukkah special in the evening. The Hanukkah episodes are, let me make sure that this is working. Yes, okay. The Hanukkah episodes will come out each night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So at the same time I started this stream. I know if you are not in the U.S., then your sundown is at a different time, but yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know if any of the sampler have, I definitely had some international packages that I shipped out, but I don't know how, I don't remember how far. I don't remember if any of those ones went all the way to Australia. I know I had some go to Israel and the UK and Canada, but I'm really excited by this. And I've been getting really excited each time I've shown restraint lately. Maybe I want a little more purple, even though the purple is really subtle in the photo. It's hard to know when you're mixing colors how it'll translate on the yarn, which is one reason why, especially in these dye-along videos, I sometimes like to start slow. I like to start slow and do something and figure out how I might want to modify my technique. And I love the results here. In the next two skeins, I'm going to go heavier with all of these tones, but I really, really like what's happening. And oh, this time I'm setting a timer, guys. Setting a timer. Whew. Okay, and I'm going to go get a beverage before I sit down and talk. So get your questions ready and leave some in the chat. Wait, I wanted to set it for 10 minutes. No, I'm setting it for 5. I can't make up my mind. Here's my soda. All right. Let's see. And if I miss a question, I'm sorry. I'm trying to skim and, yeah, help. Let's see. It's lunchtime in Australia. Oh, I'm so glad that it made his day. Well, Sarah, tell your kids that I say hi too. First snow in September. Oh my gosh. Have I added acid yet? Yes. I started off with 8 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. I'm going to make the inspiration phone a little bigger right now, but I actually really like what it's doing. I see more purple in person, and now I want to check the purples. Well, the webcam does a really awful job with purple. The purples are definitely subtle, but they are present, but they are very soft. And I guess they're soft in the picture too. Part of this is the gray coming out and sort of toning everything down, and part of it is also that I mix the purples a lot more pastel than those greens and that brownish black. And so those colors are popping more, but that also is what's popping more in the photo. So there you go. What brand and what colors am I using? I am using Dyer Supplier Silvery Sock Yarn, which is 60% superwash merino, 20% stellina. It's a silver stellina, and 20% nylon, I believe, are the proportions. I'm pretty sure it's 20% nylon and not 25, but that I'd have to go and double check on. And for dyes, I'm using, I'm trying to think if there's any jacquard dyes. I definitely have pulled a mixture of jacquard and Dharma acid dyes, but I've mixed 5 different colors. One of them is Dharma Espresso Bean, fairly dilute. The second purple is Dharma Espresso Bean with a little bit of electric violet, diluted to give us a more like pumped up purple versus sort of that more mauve color. Pumped up because it's still a pastel lavender color. And then I mixed 2 different teal colors, one that is a bit brighter, one that's a bit deeper. The brighter one, both of them used a mixture, gosh, I think I used gunmetal, sour apple, and then maybe some frozen as well. And the proportion of frozen like sort of shifted the deeper versus brighter one. And then for the deepest color, I mixed black and true black and pecan brown from Dharma. Yeah, those are the colors. And I didn't really measure anything tonight. I'm going more by feel, mainly because it's December, the holidays are almost here. I have a lot of editing left to do. But yeah, I really wish I could edit down the live streams in a way that would like make it easier to like for like the recap, but instead, at least I can show the finished dried yarn in the recaps. But so let's see. Yes, so I shared a couple of photos on Instagram, on my Instagram story. So the purples and greens are fairly subtle, but they're absolutely there. The issue is that the webcam is really bad about picking up purples and reds. And I can't shift, like I can get the tones okay, but I can't add, like on my DSLR, if I need to, I can add red in and versus just shifting the white balance, and I can't do that with the webcam. And it bugs me because the reds just don't come through. Is Hanukkah my favorite holiday? No, probably not. I mean, I love it, and I love doing the Hanukkah special. I have a lot of fun with that. Um, hmm. My favorite holiday. My favorite holiday it depends. So it depends. Like my favorite holiday for like decorating and like season and stuff would probably be Halloween. I like dressing up. I like costumes and I enjoy that. For like in terms of like Jewish holidays, I have like this great like love hate relationship with Pesach actually. Like I love the seders and getting the family together and cramming people into my small dining room. Like I love that. And then I love that the kids like matzah, and so they actually enjoy like keeping kosher for Passover. We don't keep kosher normally, but I do like observe, like, I mean, I might eat lobster on Passover, but I observe the like Passover otherwise rules, but not necessarily normal kosher rules. Um, so yeah, there's just some holidays I really like. Like I enjoy Hanukkah, and I enjoy like we now do. I think it was last year, the first year, this maybe the year before. But Keith and I now make sure that we each, not just the kids, but we each have something small to open up each night, which I think is like cute and fun. And I don't know, it's just fun like pulling together little things that I think might make him smile and laugh. And I enjoy gift giving and making things for people and stuff like that. So um, I enjoy that whole like holiday season. I love New Year's, but the holidays can also be so stressful. So that was a great question. Um, the problem is Pesach is the other six. Yeah, Pesach is long, and um, oh man, Lucas is gonna have school during Pesach this year. So Lucas Ryder's school, their spring break is over Pesach, probably because they can't like kosher the whole like preschool. So we always get Pesach off, and yeah, so Ryder will be here with me the whole time. Lucas will be at school, and it'll be kind of fun sending him matzah lunches and stuff like that. It's actually like not that hard to like share things, and like it's more about the spirit of it than anything else. And the kids like, I get one of those. I like the Manischewitz kosher for Passover cakes, and I'll grate some zucchini into it. So I make basically zucchini kosher for Passover zucchini bread, and the kids get this Passover cake for breakfast, and it's like jam packed with zucchini, and they love it, and so it's like makes it really special, and so I think that that's fun. Chocolate coins, yeah, those are, although like we always have them, but then we never really eat them, and so I have some that I'm like, these could be like 5 years old. I don't know. But I like playing dreidel. I like decorating. So I'm Jewish, but we have a multi-faith family here, and so we do Hanukkah because that's my family's tradition, and we do Christmas because that's Keith's family tradition, and so yeah, so we've got like a lot of everything, and I will say that like the Christmas tree is definitely like mine almost because like I don't know, something about like getting to decorate it has like intrigued me my whole life as a kid. So we do purple and penguins is our theme. So yeah, that's a little bit about that. Yeah, but okay, I am going to go back to the yarn and see what we can describe over here. The purple is absolutely subtle. So I save aluminum pans from everything. I get some from Dollar Tree, but then the rest definitely come. This is pretty darn good, you guys. I get some from Dollar Tree, but sometimes if we get like a catering pan or something, I save that as well. So what I'm doing by wrapping the yarn around these tongs is I am just draining some of that water so we can use it again. This is absolutely a subtle colorway. And let me grab the other yarn because we're going to play more with these same colors, but this time we're going to have 2 skeins. So since we're adding more yarn, we are effectively, like we've removed some acid and liquid with that other yarn, and some water is technically coming in with this as well. So it is a little bit more dilute than what we started with. The water volume in terms of both the heat and just because we've dyed some yarn and we've moved this. You can see that the water level is lower. And I'm going to put my gloves back on. Let me see. Oh, awesome. Yeah, other good Passover tips is good. Oh, I love latkes. Okay, so I know not everyone who's watching is Jewish, but a lot of people enjoy some good potato latkes. So are you a sour cream person or an applesauce person? Let me know in the chat. The heat is still on, but it is on low. And I would say the yarn is warm but not hot, but I wanted to come in, sort of spread it out a little bit before we go in and start dyeing. I am going to turn up the heat a little bit. So I asked a friend of ours recently. She had a little Hanukkah party, and then she was like, "Oh, I forgot the applesauce." And we're like, "Oh, do you prefer sour cream or applesauce?" She's like, "Wait, I didn't know that was a thing. I like both." And I was like, "You just had a great answer." I'm gonna come see. Wait, sour cream with Mexican hot sauce? I think that would be Keith's favorite. But another both. I tend to be applesauce because I don't think my parents weren't really sour cream people. But so here's some bare yarn next to what we've dyed. And so this color is very subtle, but we definitely added that color and pigment to it. All right, let's go in, and this time, last time we started with the palest colors. I want to do it a little differently this time. And we're starting with our deep color. And so last time, since we were going soft, I wanted to start with the pastels so I would have good coverage of it. This time, I'm starting with the deep color because that way when I put in those pastels, I can sort of place them more where I think that they will be seen. And we are ultimately going fairly random, and I am aiming for something fairly non-repeating. But we'll see how it goes. This is that brownish black color that I mixed. I'm going to add more to the bottle. There's plenty for us to flip and then add lots of color all over the place. So think of this as like that pine cone, and then we're going to decorate it. And let me make our inspiration photo a little smaller. Both. You would like recipes for latkes? Oh, don't worry about spelling wrong. I mean, I spell Hanukkah, for example, in a weird way. I mean, it's all like transliteration, so don't worry. You've only ever had with applesauce. Cranberry sauce, ooh, that would be really good. I mean, a lot of stuff would be good with latkes because it's just like potato pancakes, right? Hey, you know, Jews, we've got the delis and the bagels, and we are, if I can say anything about Jews, they like to share their food with the world. So enjoy. Oh, nice. Ooh, I like these recipe suggestions and stuff going on in the chat. Okay, I'm still going from, yeah, we're doing the reverse this time. We're going deep and then going paler, and I think that the colors that I mixed will actually last. So I'm excited because I still have plenty of each of them, which might mean that we're going to need to get a yarn mop at some point. Okay, so you'll notice I took some of this green and I layered it over those areas, but then I'm coming in and putting it in its own little spot as well. And as they spread, we will add more color. But, okay, so here's one of the purples. And I am going to go through and layer more. I want to make sure that there's enough to do the other side, but I'm sort of enjoying what's happening just like this right now. Even though it's a little regular for my taste, I will be moving things around. But I don't know, like sometimes I like to let the colors speak to me and tell the story that they want to tell, if that makes any sense at all. This just looks beautiful. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm going to layer things more, but I'm sharing this to my Instagram story. Stories. There we go. Oh. Okay. And for fun, here's my crayon. Hopefully I don't like melt the crayon at all. But here's the crayon, and there's the yarn. Took a little photo of that as well. But just so you guys can see, the colors are there, even if the camera's not picking them up. Oh yeah. So my Instagram is just, like ChemKnits. I'm just at ChemKnits on Instagram. And you can definitely see that purple more over there than you can see here. It looks gray to me on my monitor over here. All right, I'm curious. Washing this off. So I see some color around the edge still. But these purples and greens and blues are striking pretty quickly and fairly shallowly. So, oops, I want to reduce the heat. Let me give this a good 5 minutes. Actually, I'm going to add some more color. I like the stripe thing, but I know I want more pigment, and so goodbye, pretty stripes. I'm coming in, giving you a little more color before we randomly go. Some of it is in lines, some of it is not. Hoping to have enough. If I need to mix more, I definitely will. But there, give us a bit more pigment. And I am going to refill these bottles. So if you mix your colors too dilute, when you're going to be doing some immersion dyeing, that is not a bad thing. The only thing that could be bad is if you mix things too saturated. And not that that can be bad, but you can always add more color, but there's a limit to how much you can take away. And so that is always what I like to caution people when it comes to immersion dyeing. And so, but you can always manipulate things. Like I am adding the color and letting it do its thing on the yarn. I'm letting just the life and diffusion decide how much the colors spread, how much they stay. And you can definitely do that. Or you can, as you add the colors, you can immediately go in with a spoon and spread them out to help things get more pastel. And that works to an extent. But some of the more pastel hues will strike faster. It's what they're going to do. And so that color is definitely looking more like a forest green to me right now. But I'm not mad at it at all. I like it. And the thing is, there will still be a softness with this colorway here. There will be a softness. Things look more pigmented in the pan than they do when dry. But just to compare, this is what we did first. This is where we are now. And I want to check the monitor. Yeah, those purples you can't really see on the webcam, but oh my gosh. I love this like plaid pattern that definitely isn't going to stay because like the yarn is scrunched up and all that jazz, but we're only adding, oh my gosh, that yarn looks, I came back to see when I put the other yarn up, it definitely has like these subtle like small patches of color. It looks, you couldn't even really see that at all in that fast pass. Keep it from going 80s doctor's office. What if I like 80s doctor's offices? Thanks for tuning in. Yes, especially like when I spin too, sometimes I'll have an idea of what I want to do with the yarn, and then with the yarn I want to create, and then like I'll start spinning it and I'll be like, no, I want to do this. I definitely, absolutely let the fiber speak to me. Whoa. Sorry. All right, I'm excited. I don't know. I'm excited for the holidays. I still have, lots of stuff that I didn't get done that I wanted to get done. Like I really wanted to make cute pair of socks. I feel like I started 2019 saying I was going to make socks this year, and it didn't happen. I do. So like, and I talked about this. I guess it's in the Patreon early access video that will be public on the channel in January. But I talked a little bit about like my spoons and like all of that. And so I love what I do making these videos a lot. And it takes like, it fulfills a lot of my creative itch and stuff. Yeah. Ooh, candles and tinsel in here. I haven't read the whole chat, but I just saw that and I was like, that sounds lovely and pretty. I was actually at one point looking at tinsel because I wanted, I really want to make like holographic yarn. So what color is that? That's not very pigmented. How? Okay, there's not very much. Let's move this, but I'm gonna put my gloves back on. I try to be good about gloves and whatnot. Oh, funny. So like moving. Oh my. Where did that come from? Okay. Moving this around. There were absolutely purples in here a while ago, and I feel like, okay, wait, no, I still see some purples. It feels like a lot of the purples in this yarn have disappeared. So I was looking and I was like, wait, where'd they all go? They're super, super subtle. Super subtle. And we'll have to see how much we'll have to like go on the inside of the skeins, but I do not want this to get too dark. So on this side, coming in with like our black brown color, I'm sort of following like a similar, not the same, but I'm trying to stay like within the same kind of areas that I did before. And this is because I want, not because I want like things to be regular, but I don't want that dark color to spread too much and to overwhelm the rest of the yarn. So that is my plan there. And doing these diagonals, it just will keep things a little bit more random and non-repeating. And I'm going a bit bigger. Some of this purple. That is the brighter one. Here is the browner one. And so you can see we've got some color spread at these edges. Some of that dark color. And I think that that is okay. I mean, the purples are subtle in the thing. I keep being like, man, the purples are getting lost. But it's just the subtleness of them. And I mean, I'm still okay with it. I really like it. It's really soft. It's really, really pretty. I wish, like, yeah, in here, the purples are sort of melding with the gray a bit, and I almost want to like add more, but I also really like where this is in that softness. And this honestly will pair nicely with those two skeins that we have going on right now. But, so the nylon content, sorry. The yarn is, the nylon and the wool will pick up the acid dyes. The stellina won't. And so the gray cast does shift where the colors go and wow, the purples really are not coming through on that camera. Is there a way to dye glow in the dark yarn? Glow in the dark, not necessarily. Fluorescent, yes. Dharma and Jacquard both have fluorescent acid dye colors, and yeah, you can see them under a black light, and it's a lot of fun. You can also use highlighters, like Sharpie highlighters, and those will also fluoresce under a black light. So you can get like those fluorescent, and unfortunately there's not a good fluorescent blue. So like I think like the fluorescent greens and purples tend to use a blue that doesn't fluoresce, but the yellow, orange, red, like those we've got like great. And so then, you know, there's the green and purple, but I think that again, the blue in those is probably not fluorescent. I would love to do a whole fluorescent rainbow, but that does not quite exist. Yeah, I don't recommend using paint on yarn. And I have some things that I want to try at some point, but I haven't yet, like Tulip Color Shot Spray. It's supposed to be more of a dye versus a paint, but I don't know, it might end up crunchy. One of the first episodes of Dye Cut Weekly, I tried dyeing acrylic paint or acrylic yarn with acrylic paint because it was very requested multiple times, and like acrylic paint is because like there's acrylic like in the paint. It's not because it's supposed to paint acrylic things, you know. And like it didn't really work. It mostly washed out. Like it wasn't something that I recommend. But a paint versus, so like a dye will sort of go within the fibers and bind to the fibers and does not change the texture. A paint will sit on top of the fibers and sort of coats them, but there's another material in with that pigment, so it will alter the texture. And so that's something that you can feel like with shirts and stuff. Like you can tell when something is dyed into the pattern because of the way that it moves versus having it sort of like printed like with vinyl or something on top. Oh, thank you. Oh, Julie, December 13th is your birthday? That's my birthday too. Happy belated birthday. We had a good Friday the 13th day this year. Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend using paint. Like, I think that fluorescent is fun. And honestly, like a lot of glow in the dark stuff, like glows for such a short period of time. Like, I got the kids glow in the dark sheets and I was really excited. And they do work, but you have to leave a light on, like shining directly on them for a really long time for them to actually then glow. So they don't actually glow very long. But I think, I don't know, I think black light stuff is cool. Now, sometimes it's like, well, how often does like a black light thing come up? Not a ton, but like at, say, like the New England Aquarium, there's a bit of black light on one of the ramps, which was pretty cool at my wedding. Like my dress looked very blue at one point. And so like, I don't know, I think that it can be fun. Whew. But yeah, I'm now waiting. I did not set a timer. I'm gonna go set a timer. I'm like, we're waiting now for this color to set a bit. See, the purple's there, I still see. And if I look closely, like in some areas you can see the purple, it's just the lavender. The lavenders are so subtle. I think that, again, like some of the colors being subtle, the pastels on the gray sort of disappear a little more than they might on like a white yarn. And again, it's the Selena that gives it a gray cast because there's a lot. There's a lot in it. Ooh, you're gonna try plying yarn with glow in the dark thread? That's a brilliant idea. That's a really great idea. I actually, I should have looked at the yardage of the thread I was using, but I applied some yarn with some thread for an experiment that I haven't done yet, but I did the plying part. It didn't work as well as I thought, but I think that if I was, I think that it could work really cool. I just had never tried plying anything with thread before, so. Yeah, but using like something that's fibrous already, I think that you have a better shot than like trying to, I wonder if there's like glow in the dark fire star or anything like that. Like I really wish, and I've learned like a tiny bit about it because I sort of asked. So Selena comes in silver and gold lurex. I'm not sure if there's a gold lurex. There's definitely silver lurex. But these are, you know, synthetic fibers that add like color or sparkle and stuff to yarn. But spinners use like, and especially making art backs, use all this like Angelina and Firestar and these gorgeous iridescent colors and different colored sparkles. And I think it would be amazing. Like imagine being able to buy like a line of bare yarn that had different color sparkles in it. Now apparently, I don't know if there's nylon in some of the Angelina and stuff. Some of that can be dyed with acid dyes and stuff, so that could shift it. But like some of these iridescent colors and stuff, like it would be so cool to have bare yarns with that. And like I know Paradise Fibers has some yarn and stuff in it. And so I actually like went and asked, and I was talking with someone who works with like sourcing bare yarn, and I was like, this is something that I would love to see. And basically it comes down to, when dealing with the mills, like the type of equipment that places have. And so some mills can deal with synthetics, some can't really, because you need the different equipment for the blending of the fiber and then the spinning of the fiber. And that's not something, I thought like, okay, if you have the spinning like equipment for commercial spinning, you can spin anything. But different like mills, they have different levels of expertise and things that they can do. And it's not like they can spend a ton of time just sitting and experimenting necessarily, because someone has to pay for that time. And so a lot of times, I think if you want a specific type of yarn made, you'll find a mill that does that type of thing, and maybe for another purpose. And you can certainly develop something that is new and unique, but yeah, you need to like find like a mill that had like, I don't know, all that I think is like really cool and interesting. And so, I just thought like, hey, if you have a mill that you work with, you can be like, hey, can you just do this? And it's not necessarily that simple. And so like, I have this piece of like tinsel-y stuff here, and like I would love something like that spun in a bare yarn. Like that'd be incredible. It would be amazing and so unique. But I think the reason why it doesn't really exist, and only exists in like an art back or like yarn that people spin themselves, is because like maybe it's not strong enough to stand up to industrial carders or something, and so maybe it gets like destroyed. Like there could be reasons why it can't be scaled up in that way that like I'd love to be able to see, because like it can't be that none of these like big yarn companies are like, man, we only want silver and gold sparkles. There has to be a reason why they haven't gone, like these other sparkles exist in fibers, and there's a reason why it's not in yarn. So yeah, like so it's something that like, and I don't know a ton, and so it's not like, obviously I'm not an expert, but it was something that like I hadn't considered. And I was like, oh, because the conversation was like, I know that like this is a kind of bare yarn I would love and I would go nuts for, and I know other people would as well. And there like the explanation of like why it might be more difficult, and it might not be impossible, but it might be really expensive to try to develop it. Yeah, and so I think that like that's cool. And like I don't know, I think it would be a dream to like go more behind the scenes and learn more about the sourcing of this. And like, not that I want to like start my own bare yarn company or anything like that. That's not something that's like on my like want list. I just want to be like a fly on the wall with like some of these other companies when they're developing yarn bases, and watch and learn about that. And it would be hard because like I'd want to be able to share all of that with everyone, and like obviously there's like proprietary stuff, and so like I don't think anyone's going to invite me to be like, hey, come on this mill tour with us, or hey, let me show you these unreleased samples and stuff like that. Like love it. And so, hey, if you're a company and watching and you're interested in that, like, reach out to me. Because I'd love to learn more. But I mean, clearly, like, so Paradise Fibers had that diamond yarn that had that iridescent, like, fiber in it, but it's a roving, and so they, you can card it because you can get it into that roving, but maybe the commercial spinning equipment can't quite handle it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Paradise Fibers, they definitely make their own fiber blends and stuff like that, but I'm not sure. I don't think that they have their own like line of bare yarn. I think that they have like other brands and stuff. Um, Wait, I missed something. You saw some yarn that had cassette tape spun into it. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's functionally like what this like kind of thing spun in. It feels very much like cassette tape, but it's so thick that it's not quite right. I mean, I went and I was looking at tinsels and like holographic. So I mean, I don't have any like holographic glitter on right now. I just took off my Holo Taco. Uh, huge fan of Simply Nailogical, but yeah, it's like, ooh, could I spin like a hollow yarn? And so then I was looking at like tinsel and thinking, and I mean, it could be fun. Like this is stuff is definitely like scratchy, but depending on how it's done, it could be fun and pretty. I don't know. Like the wheels are always spinning in my head of what I can do, but yeah. There could also be a demand issue. Yeah, so silver and gold are definitely classic and neutral sparkle colors, but I think that even for like forget bare yarns, but I think that people would be really excited. Like imagine if you could have like a deep forest green with that like radioactive green sparkle going through it. Like it would be pretty exciting. Or if you could have a black yarn with rainbow sparkles like spread out through it. You know, these things that like people can create with hand spun, but like some of these things like I think that like these yarns would be like there would be demand for it. Um, so yeah. Yeah, I would imagine that it would only be a few yards, but it's fun what people can do. Um, Wait, there's some Mad Tosh yarn with a hollow sparkle. Amy, what's the yarn line? I'm I don't buy yarn anymore, but I feel like I need it. I need it. Um, I love Mad Tosh. Yeah, so it's something like probably something that like smaller, like I mean, so like Art Yarns, right? That's the brand that has like sequins and beads and is so like stunning, really expensive because it's a lot of work to prep that yarn. Um, but yeah, it's just something like thinking about because I'm like, man, like if I like worked for like Knit Picks or Dyer Supplier or something like these are the types of yarns that I want to see. Like so one of you actually, I bought it some of it from one of you. Wool to Die For used to have a yarn that had like 2 ply superwash and 2 plies not superwash. So then when you dye it, you get this barber pole, and I have a video with it somewhere on the channel. And like that's an awesome yarn base. Like I would love for someone to create something like that again because there are so many possibilities of things you can do with it. But you know, there's a reason why they don't have that yarn base anymore. Maybe it didn't sell well, but like that's something that like I would go and spin myself because that's something that intrigues me and excites me as a dyer and an artist. Like I love marled yarns. I'm bummed Dyer Supplier like they because it's a mill switch issue. I really hope that they find another source for their marled sock yarn because I really like it. But having like the marledness show up as you dye it, I think is so cool and so unique. So the superwash grabs the dye faster. Like I did it with Breaking Violet, but And did I do it in a blank? I'm now forgetting what I did. I have a couple skeins left. But just imagine like doing it with like other colors and having like, yeah, there's just so many things you could do that would be beautiful. Um, Tosh Marina Light Hollow Glitter. I love Tosh Marina Light. Oh my gosh! Hmm. It's exciting. I wish you can see in like this photo, you can kind of get a sense of the rainbow sparkles. Unfortunately, okay, so it's not actually hollow glitter, but it is iridescent because it's like subtle iridescent glitter base. It's not true hollow, simply. No, but it's cute. I wish that there was like a like more of a tonal or something. I have a feeling like there used to be more colors, and then this is all that's left. A subtle iridescent glitter base. I think that that is awesome. I think that is so 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 awesome. Um, I would love 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 a bear version of that. Um, you're not sure? Yeah, I know that they were bought by Jimmy Beanswool. Um, I know that lots of stuff has been going on. Huh, the shawl in a ball. Isn't shawl in a ball, is that mostly acrylic? But yeah, rainbow sparkle. Shawl on a cake. Oh, I started off with Lion Brand stuff. Oh, it's cotton and acrylic. Cute. Cute, cute. Um, yeah, anyway, that is a bit of a digression. Wow. I have a call filter that's going to block spam calls. Woohoo. Verizon just let me know. Okay, let's go back to our yarn. I completely got distracted down that rabbit hole thinking about different yarn and yarn sourcing, but this is something I think about. And always feel free to let me know what kinds of yarn bases you would like to see me play with and see me dye. I obviously love playing with color, but and I mostly dye wool things, and I know I use the same bases a lot because so here's my this is the scientist in me. I am more likely to do a new experiment on wool of the Andes or Stroll because those are the yarn bases I've dyed the most and I know how they behave. So when I'm trying something that's more experimental, when I try something experimental on a yarn base I'd never dyed before, then when things aren't don't happen as like I predict and expect, it's hard to be sure if it's the yarn or if it's the technique. And so that's why a lot of times I'll try a new technique for the first time on a yarn base I am comfortable and familiar with. But that means since I do a lot of experimentation and new techniques, it means I'm not always using as many new yarn bases as I'd like. And I have a lot of other yarn bases. So please, please, please request different fiber types, different yarn bases and things. Like this is stuff that I definitely, absolutely want to do and share and play with. I just, yeah, it's just sometimes I need like that extra push because I want to have controls and I want to control everything, like from that scientific perspective in me. So, yeah, there is that, and that is the like the truth behind my brain. Okay, those purples I mixed are tapped out. Um, I'm going in a little lighter with this darker color this time, just because I don't really need it. There's some of that other dark has come through, but I'm really, really happy with this. Setting a timer, and I need to grab another skein of something. Let's see what I have. What are you? I don't really want to use you or you. I want to save you. What are you? Hold on, everyone. Okay, I'm going to pre-soak some Knit Picks Bare Superwash Merino Twist, which is 100% superwash fine merino wool, and it is high twist, true to its name. It's like a heavy Aran weight. It has been rebranded, I believe. I forget what the new name of this base is, but initially, like they had it listed and said it was DK. It's absolutely not DK. It is definitely heavy worsted. It's only 149 yards per 100 grams. There's no way that's a DK weight, even with this high twist. But I've got some of the blues and this deep color, and so we're not going to leave any dye behind. I've got another green that was a little too green, and so we'll combine all of that. Definitely looking at wintry day. You want more plant-based fibers? Yes, I want to do more plant-based fibers too. There is one of the first videos of, I think the first Dye Pot Weekly of 2020 is going to involve some cotton. Yes, I love it. So yeah, I don't necessarily like when I'm knitting, I don't always go for superwash, like just because I hand wash most of my stuff. So honestly, when I'm knitting, I don't care if it's superwash or not, unless I'm doing like a sweater. But even Keith's sweater was non-superwash. Now I'm curious. Knit Picks 12. Okay, so yeah, this yarn is now the Twill yarn base that they rebranded it as Twill. They used to call it the Superwash Merino Twist. And I was so excited when I thought it was DK weight. I wanted like a really high twist yarn, but the yarn is beautiful and soft, and I love it. So the yarn seems dark. Yes, it is a little bit dark, but I promise it is and maybe it's time for another like Instagram story update on it. It looks like the colors look more gray than on the than it does on camera. And I'm adding the update. if you go to my Instagram stories, there will be a bunch of different pictures from various types here. Have I ever dyed 100% linen? No. I've definitely done linen, cotton, blue. Yes! Lindy chain. So let me see. Okay, yeah, so I have some pictures in there. Yeah, so Lindy chain I think is 100% linen. And I've only dyed that a handful of times though. I might have some more. I'm not sure. It wasn't my favorite, not because of the linen, but I think just because I don't know. It wasn't, I like one of my favorite plant-based yarns is the Knit Picks Cotton Boucle. I love it. Love, love, love it. You'll be dyeing with avocado. Oh, awesome. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of options for bare yarn that have stellina in them. One other thing that I remember, so this was around, I think, when Dyer Supplier and Knit Crate were switching mills. At one point, they sent out a DK weight yarn with stellina, and I got so excited. Or was it even worsted? Maybe it was a worsted weight yarn in one of the boxes. I got so excited, but they didn't have a bare yarn version available because they were switching mills for the bare yarn part. So yeah, so the yarn, it's looking dark on the screen, but it definitely has like a brightness to it. And the colors always seem darker in, colors are always darker in the pan than they are in, darker in the pan than they are when dry. And yes, yeah, it's so much prettier than on YouTube. Is one message that I got. Uh-oh. Oh, fun. I was like, did I have a message from another company? But no. Yeah, the linen. So let's see. One of the ones with linen was when I tried dyeing with dry tulip tie-dye powder. I think I did. It was definitely like reds. I believe I used Lindy chain in that one. I could be wrong though. Maybe I just used different cottons, but I'm pretty sure. But I don't think I have that. I think I sold that yarn a long time ago. I don't think I need a video database. That's something I need. I need a database and here's something else I can talk about. Okay, let's move that bus. Move that yarn. It's a little hot, but spreading things out. I feel comfortable removing that from the pot shortly, but I want my other yarn to pre-soak a bit more. Anyway, so here is like my website drama. I need a new website. I want a new website, but I'm having trouble finding something that will work for what I need. Like, you know, and like figuring out like where to host it and like I would love to have a website that is like a ChemKnits hub. Like I can't really port the blog from the way that it is. So I'd have a central hub and it would link over to where the blog is because I'm afraid to move the blog and then lose, because right now it's just on Blogger and I'm afraid to lose access to all those photos. I don't want to lose access to any backlinks and stuff that are set up from it. So I might change the look of it, but that'll still sort of stay there. I'm just afraid to move it. I'm afraid to try to move it. But, you know, I want like, I don't know, I have trouble like it would be nice to have like to move away from Etsy and have like my shop stuff on my own site, but I'd want a way like on a website to integrate the videos into it, and it just doesn't seem like, maybe it just doesn't make sense, and it's just I'm overly complicating things. But anyway, I would love to make a database um, where I can tag each video with dye type and have that be one category. Um, Maybe fiber content or even yarn base and brand, and like be able to tag it with all these different features. So that way someone could go to said database and be like, okay, what videos feature linen yarn that ChemKnits has done? Like, that would be great. And that's not even something that necessarily I could search or find easily on my own, you know? And I have so many videos, and yeah, so that's something that I would love to be able to do. It would be a lot of work. And so, I mean, it might be easier to like tag videos with like fiber content versus the yarn base, just because there are so many options. But yeah, so that's something that's like in my head and something that I've absolutely wanted to do for so long. And I haven't been the, like, I have no doubt that like if I went with like Squarespace or Wix or something, that I could design like a website that would be modern and current and that I could be really happy with. Um, Currently, I'm happy with Etsy handling the back end of the shop stuff because it's just like one other thing I don't really have to troubleshoot at the moment. Um, but yeah, and like I have another domain that would like be good for like my central hub. But I just feel like right now I'm like da 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 Patreon and Etsy and like my website and this and this, and it's just like so many different directions that there's not like a central like, hi, I'm ChemKnits. And so like yeah, and so like yeah, I just don't know what makes the most sense at all. Um, yeah, it can be done. It would take a lot of time or money. Yes. Like, I definitely know, like, there's some, like, so Keith has made, he has, for his, like, lab website, they have a database of all of the papers that he's published. And so it has, like, the thumbnail, and you can search, like, it's a simple, like, little thing. And so not quite the extent of what I want, but I'd love like, yeah, I just, my programming skills are very basic HTML from like computer camps and stuff as a kid. So yeah, I don't have like the skills to build this out myself, nor do I have the funds to hire someone to assist me with it. Um, so what ends up happening with projects like this is that I have it in my brain and then think on it, and eventually, hopefully, then I'll bite the bullet and go for it. I'm just going to let this sit a little more. Eventually, I'll end up going for it in some kind of way. But yeah, there's like lots of nerves. So the thing with, yes, so some dyers definitely like will use Etsy to sort of, so you're not supposed to use Etsy, like technically it's against the Etsy terms and conditions to use it to drive traffic elsewhere. So, and especially sales. Like you're not supposed to try to direct people to an outside website. Now, and yeah, and so a lot of people, you can have some things on Etsy and on a standalone website, and so that's fine. But like, I had a friend who, when she was moving off Etsy, you know, I think she had a couple listings like still on Etsy, but in her shop announcement, she was like, hey, like I've moved, like this is where I've moved to, and they made her take it down because she was like, and she's like, but nothing is on sale here at all, so I'm not trying to, like, what I'm trying to do is direct people who are searching for me to know where they can now find me. And so there was a whole like thing. Um, Sounds like I need to start writing down what I want for a site with all features and then go for there. Um, Dee Dyer Supply. Yeah, I've mentioned. I've had phone calls with Dyer Supplier. And so yeah, I've mentioned some of the things that I'd be interested in, but I know they have a lot of stuff in the works, and so I'm not even privy to like what's coming up and stuff. But yeah, I've definitely shared with them some of my suggestions because I think of the like companies that like I've worked with, like I mean, like I have a relationship with Dyer Supplier, and I know they know who I am. Nitpicks, I don't think they have any idea who I am. I've once spoken with someone as like, so I'm an affiliate marketer for them. So like I get paid by them, but I don't think that they're like, I'm probably a drop in the bucket to them. And so like once I asked for them to send me, like when they started the subscription boxes, I asked them to send me a sample and they did. But otherwise, I don't think that they're aware. They've never like reached out to me or anything in like a personal way like that. And like Paradise Fibers, like I mean, I want to go visit them. They're very kind and sweet and interact with them, but I haven't um, like I don't know any of them, like feel like I know any of them individually or anything like that. So if I so for a new website, I would not want to do it through Etsy. I would want to do it if I was going to do like a standalone site. I want something. I don't want to move the shop there now, but I want something that I could integrate the shop into at some point, if that makes sense. No, I know a lot of people probably use Shopify um, to power their shops. Yes. So the technically using discount vouchers to get people to go to their website from Etsy is if Etsy catches that you've done that people have done that, then they might shut down their Etsy shop or send them a strongly worded letter. Um, oh, bye. Stay cool, Christine. Oh, I'm sorry it's so hot. Um, Yeah, I have two different videos dying with avocado right now. One with no mordants and one with mordants. Um, yeah, so I don't know. This is all like Shopify is definitely very popular. Um, and so I want like yeah, and so just looking, but like Shopify is very much like a shop site, right? And so but I don't necessarily want the site to just be a store. So like I don't know what I want to do. um so that's why I'm like, should I just like do like a Wix thing and just get something that is a central hub and then worry about like I don't want to so part of me is like, okay, I should just like do Wix and make up like that central hub I have in my dream. And so like at the top, it's got like, shop, and then that would send you to Etsy and Patreon and then YouTube. And then, because I've got all these different facets of my business and of me. And so, but then I want something that like, if I decide to move the shop from Etsy, that I would be able to do that easily. And so, yeah, this is all like real like the scattered brain, and then I'm like, okay, I'm a little overwhelmed by this. I am just gonna continue to be fragmented. Start writing down. Oh no, I have lists. I have thoughts and ideas, and occasionally like I go through and I try to see like what, yeah, and it's just, yeah, I have lists, but yeah, I'm the debate now is if I'm going to hire some outside help, my next priority is not the website. So, ooh, yeah, I've done yeah, yeah. So, oh man, okay. Let's go leave no die behind. Now that I've given, see, this is why the streams are fun. But yeah, these are the, I need to come up with my goals for 2020. Like my business goals. But it's hard to know because things like you guys and like all of your support is great, and things are definitely like growing. And what's funny, the purples feel like they've disappeared from here too. There's definitely some of it still there, but something about those purples just sort of they sort of sink in and disappear a little bit. Because they were definitely more present before I just went and like squeezed out the yarn. And it's not like the color came out or anything. So that's just odd. Anyway, yeah, these are all thoughts that just go through my head, and then like I start planning and then abandon it, and a lot of it is just like some of it is time, or then like I have like I had some contract work, and so then I was focusing on that, and so I've always got lots of things going in my head, and so I use spreadsheets for lists. And so then like, yeah, I use spreadsheets for like packing, but then I'll also use it for things like, okay, these are the features that I'd like to have on a central website. And then sometimes I'll do like cost analysis. And so, all right, so this green is not one that I used in the yarn exactly. I used this and then added more blue to it. But on its own, so this green went into that and this color. But so that was like the first green that I mixed. And then okay. Got more color. We're gonna let this set, and then we will move it around as we leave no dye behind. And I'm actually gonna start rinsing some of these cups that I mixed color in, and start bringing in these pastels. Even though I took off my gloves, I'm going to be pouring these pastels. This one is a little less of a pastel, but you can see on the yarn it is rather pastel. Here's a little bit of a pastel green. These purples are absolutely going to disappear this time because so pastel. But again, we're leaving nothing behind. There we go. That adds a little more liquid, and so that just cleaned out all of our little cups, and I still just have what's left in the spray bottle. So, oh my gosh, I talked for a long time, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out and listening. Goodness gracious. Oh man. Oh man, I think I did remember to set the timer. But yeah, I'm so glad you guys have all tuned in. I'm not an artist unless I get some color on my skin. Yes, it's looking very black. There's definitely a lot of green. Um, the colors are not doing it. Um, yeah, like no, it's hard. Like because when I start thinking like in some of these other directions that start going down, it's like what I really want to do is I want to make videos and I want to play with color and share that with everyone. Um, and then everything else is like, well, how can I make that like sustainable? And like if I hit a point where things grow more, like what can I do to like facilitate more growth, or where can I best like brings like some help in, and things like that. And then there's goofy things that I think about, which is like, oh, like yeah, like things that would just be like fun and silly to do, like a 12-hour stream would be really fun to do. Hard, it would be really hard for me to do. I kind of want to do it. So yeah, like things thinking about like, I don't know. But again, the problem with live streams is that one of the things I've been working on more recently is there are yarns that I've dyed and techniques that I've tried in live streams, but I don't necessarily have a standalone video on that. So a plus of the live stream is that you can see from start to finish and like with all the wait time, like what goes into the yarn. Like nothing is edited out, but also nothing is edited out, so it's not as good of a resource for people. And specifically with like the sock blank specials that I did back in the day, where some of those streams did go on for like 6 hours or close to 6 hours. And so I did a lot of techniques, but I want to go back to some of these things and make more things standalone videos, and things also with some of the techniques that I've done from, say, like these dialogues as well. Like I've used different resist techniques a few times, and I haven't done those as often in, say, Dye Pot Weekly. And so that's one of the things that I want to do and sort of go back and do more. And it's like I've done a little more recently where I've done some like, hey, true low immersion. Let's like make this like more repeating kind of colorway and stuff like that, to sort of like revisit. And as I refine my techniques and stuff too, some of the things I do sort of like shift. And so that's one of the like short term like goals and things that's inspiring me lately. Oh, you're literally tagging along right now. That's awesome. That is so awesome. Um, yeah, it's like things just got like I got busy. So, like with the contract work and like with that project, I think things got pushed like, so it's outside of my control when like I can share stuff about that. And so I feel bad because I was like, oh, I'll be able to tell soon, but then they pushed it back and pushed it back. And so, you know, whatever. But it definitely took, and I'm not quite done yet. I'm definitely not getting more editing done tonight though. Yeah, it definitely took some more time than I necessarily expected. But once like my part of that is done, then I'm like, oh, I really will have more time in my schedule. And so, yeah, just I need to. I'm gonna try to be a little more deliberate with my scheduling and trying to also factor in some more time for to make sure I keep up with like self-care and home organization, because my like studio is like yarn is everywhere right now. um, ooh, huge shift. Oh, I've wanted to do one of those forever. Um, ooh, oh, it's so cold here, and I mean I do well with cold, but I'd love to go to Costa Rica. Oh man. Oh, awesome. I'll have to go check that out. Um, But yeah, I mean, this one, like, someone, wait, I've only, I'm like looking at the time and it's like 2 hours and 19 minutes. I'm like, it feels like it's a 12-hour live stream would be really hard. I definitely need to have like another person, not just for like technical support, but like I'd have to take a food break and like bathroom break, things that don't frequently occur during my current streaming schedule. um, will I be able to premiere any of the Hanukkah specials? I'm not sure. Um, if I am able to premiere any of the Hanukkah specials, it'll happen fairly last minute because I'll know like, you know, the first one I won't be able to. There's like we have a family holiday party that night, and odds are I will be with like family and friends at 8:30, and so that's the 22nd, the 23rd. We're going out to we have a family another family dinner, so I might not be home, and then the 24th. You know, the 25th maybe, and like some of the later ones maybe. Some of the early ones are harder because, yeah, it's just last year was even more hectic with school, but now there's like more evening stuff going on. And so ideally, if I can, I will premiere the videos, which means like I'll be in the chat room. And the videos, they're not like super long. So depending on like, yeah, if I can do it, I will do it. But I don't want to promise anything. But yeah, okay. Ooh, let's go flippy flip the yarn. Oh, I'm feeling old. I'm the ripe old age of 36, guys. There's definitely still dye in here, but I'm not. What is that? There's like a fuzzy that came off of the yarn. It's sort of refreshing to dye only one skein after dyeing so many. We spread it out, and definitely want to pay attention around the ties. Okay, let's go in with our dark color first. Now I'm going on a bit more randomly. Heavy on the tie, though. Tie! Oh, gosh. Leave no dye behind. Well, I'll rinse these out in a little bit. This is definitely going to be, this colorway is fairly earthy with like greens, but with this pop of like this bright teal. I think it's pretty nice. There's something very freeing about like doing a leave no dye behind like this. Oh dear. I really enjoy doing stuff like that. And honestly, this makes cleanup easier as well. I'm just literally dumping I'm adding all this into like a bin to soak. A lot of times, like, so I've got yarn like sitting on the stove, and I probably won't wash any of it until tomorrow, because that's just like what I can handle. Usually after these, I just sort of go to bed and pass out. But I need to figure out what I'm filming tomorrow, because I didn't get done today what I was hoping to, so I can't quite do some of the stuff. Yeah. It's getting to the point in the evening where I am absolutely thinking out loud. Where is my crayon? Oh, there's my crayon. So Keith got me for my birthday a mic pack, and I am terrified because I'm terrified of not being able to integrate it very well. It looks very black. There's a lot of green in there. But yeah, I'll see about like playing with that and trying to integrate that. And if I know audio in the live streams isn't great, so maybe I'll try that. So yeah, the secret project is when I teased because I thought that the launch was coming, and then it wasn't. But it's basically, I mean, it's supposed to be something that everyone can enjoy some of. And so nothing like, I don't know, just something that's been fun for me to work on, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the end product. But yeah, just more, a little more of me. But yeah, I am excited. And honestly, okay, it's almost 11. It's my bedtime. I think if I'm going to do a 12-hour live stream, I would need to start at like 6 a.m. That would help everyone in Europe and stuff. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. What's in the pan right now is definitely my leave no dye behind, but I am really happy where we ended up. I think that some of my yarn definitely has a lot of the shadow in here, and like the purples are so pastel that because of the base might feel a little lost, but I'm really proud of the yarns that we ended up with, and I'm really excited to see them dry. So from here, what's going to happen is I will, likely tomorrow morning, I will wash them, put them through the spin dryer, hang them up to dry, and then I'll film a recap, which will come out sometime in early to mid-January. And the reason why, normally with another random live streams that I do, I try to do the recap within a week. Like as soon as the yarn is dry, I try to just film a quick recap so that way you guys can really see true with the color what the yarn looks like, to get like a sense of how it turned out. But I wait because this is a dye along, and so you guys can create yarn based on this inspiration photo as well. Just tag your pictures with the hashtag ChemKnitsDyeAlong on Instagram, or apply to this photo on Facebook on the public ChemKnits Facebook page, with the yarn that you dyed, and I'll pick some of them and feature them in the recap. And it's a lot of fun to see what you guys create. And again, like people ask, like, do you need to use all the colors? No. You could dye yarn inspired by the backdrop of this picture. You could dye yarn like inspired by a feeling of the picture. It's just your interpretation. And what about it inspires you? And so I think that it's a lot of fun. And people sometimes will blend colors and spin, and I'm totally accept that as well. So yeah. And yeah, and if you guys have finished projects with the yarn before I've published the recap, I also will include those. It's really fun when that all kind of comes together and works out. Again, make sure you're subscribed to the ChemKnits Tutorials YouTube channel. So much content is coming up for the rest of the year, and you really don't want to miss any of it. So press that bell icon, which will turn on notifications, especially since I might be able to do some last minute premieres of some of the Hanukkah special. But otherwise, those will be coming out at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, starting December 22nd. We'll go through the 8 nights of Hanukkah and then 2 bonus videos for the limited edition Hanukkah colorways. So, yeah. Hello, I'm just signing off. I'm so sorry. I gotta go to bed. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love doing these streams so much, and this was all inspired because of all of you. So again, you can find, if you want to learn more about any of the tools or things that I used in this video, or where else you can find me, the Patreon and whatnot, links to everything are in the video description. I think they should be in the video description. Well, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and this might be the last live stream of 2019. I don't think I have any other we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you guys so much. And I hope that if it's daytime, you have a wonderful day, and if it's nighttime, you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you all so much, and I will chat with you soon. Bye. And now you know, this is the awkward time when I wait and see the delay so that way I can press stop. And so, because there is usually like around a minute or so delay. And oh yeah, because I changed the streaming thing. So now, okay, goodbye for second time for real in case this all comes through. Bye bye.